Hi, this is Miss Cho, and in this video, we'll look at where the quadratic formula comes from. The quadratic formula, as you know, is x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, and this is when your quadratic equation is set equal to 0. It looks super clunky, but it comes from completing the square for this ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Ultimately, what we want is a square with side lengths of x minus h and x minus h. Before we can do that, we have to move cu to the other side, so we have ax squared plus bx is equal to negative c. When we complete the squared, we want an x squared term where a is 1, so we need to divide everything through by a. This leaves x squared plus b over ax is equal to negative c over a. And we know that our h terms here, this negative hx and the negative hx, they have to add up to this b over a. So how can I get b over a into two separate boxes? I can do that by just adding half of b over a. As a side note, that's why h is equal to negative b over 2a when we were looking for the vertex from standard form. When I multiply this, I have b over 2ax and b over 2ax, and when I add them together, I will get b over ax. But what is the term here that I have to add to both sides to make this a perfect square trinomial? That is this missing corner, which is b over 2a squared, which is b squared over 4a squared. So I will add b squared over 4a squared to both sides. Now I can rewrite this as a perfect square with a side length of x plus b over 2a. And on the right-hand side, I want a common denominator of 4a squared. So to do that, I'm going to multiply numerator and denominator by 4a. This gives me negative 4ac plus b squared all over 4a squared. When I take the square root of each side, I then have x plus b over 2a is equal to plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. And my denominator 4a squared is a perfect square, so the square root of that is 2a. To get x by itself, I'm going to subtract the b over 2a from each side. So this is negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And if I put this all over a common denominator, I get the quadratic formula.